What is hmm, give up to grow up? All right. Let's talk about it. What's that mean to you? Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. So I'm just curious if you think about your own personal life, when have you had to give up something to go up? Give up in one place to go up in another. Hello. Well, I know, but everybody else is like do 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 do. So what do you where have you had to give up to go up in your life? So you haven't given it up. Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure we're still live. I don't think we might have lost Rebecca. Maybe you lost me. I don't know. Yeah. So I think Rebecca is still on the house Wi-Fi. I switched over to my phone, so I'm sure my phone's probably working a little bit better. So I'm pretty sure the house Wi-Fi is not working well. Well, so we're in an Airbnb today down in Omaha. We're having a convention down here this week, and we're looking forward to what we have ahead of us. But this house is a beautiful, beautiful home. Um, but I think the Wi-Fi might be a little low cost, not what you call high speed. So, so that's kind of where we're at here. But give up to go up. So, my friends, when I think about this concept of giving up to go up, it's been something that's really hard for me to grab into my own life because there's so many things. There's so many things that I want to be able to do. And there's so many things that I want to be able to influence and impact. And what I've really found interesting in this process is I don't have to give up my dreams of influence. I don't have to give up my dreams of creating massive impact, but I have to give up the dream that I'm going to do it alone. I have to give up the idea that this is something that I'm going to do by myself. And as I give up the thoughts of, Kylan is so amazing, which I found out years ago is just not true. Kylan is just a person with well, you have what you tell yourself is totally different. I'm talking about in the world of creating business and impact and things like that. If I'm stepping into any type of environment where I want to make a big influence and make a massive impact, I have to do it with people, lots of people, and be able to influence the people in such a way that they get impact, and they get credit for the impact, and they get their own success in their own personal life through that impact. And if I can help other people be successful, then the dream is still there. The dream is still alive. The dream is still possible. The dream can truly become reality. But I have to give up thinking that it's going to be because of me. And that's just the absolute truth. It's not going to be because of me. It's going to be, maybe in with me. I can be a part of the team. I can be part of the outcome, but I'm not going to do it alone. Even anybody who's ever climbed Mount Everest has never done it alone. And if you're going to get to the top of the mountain, you got to do it with a team, with people. So those are things that I've learned, and it's one of multiple different things that I think about when the concept of give up to go up. And John put it in there as give up to grow up. You got to grow to where you're going. You got to grow to the top of the mountain. You can't just go to the top of the mountain. You have to grow there, which is a whole nother concept. Mm-hmm. 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 No, I'm here. Why? Oh, oh, yeah. Working on trying to keep everything moving into the other space, so I can always come back. So it's one of those things that when you think about that scenario, what are you willing to give up in terms of entertainment, in terms of self gratification, in terms of what is it that I'm willing to give up habitually so I can go up with something new that's fresh and exciting. Um, that's that's a personal question, but you cannot do everything. You cannot have everything. And when I look at media, the reason that I talk about media the way that I do is like it can consume your life, and it can consume. Here's the thing you want to remember: 1 hour a day for 365 days a year. That's why I've talked about the power of an hour for years. If you invest 1 hour a day in your personal growth and your personal development, 1 hour, and you just take that 1 hour every day for 365 days, that's 365 hours. So, I mean, think about it. And I've done the math on this. I'm going to do it right here, right quick. 365 hours divided by, uh, yeah. When you start dividing that all out, that's like 9 40-hour weeks. Think about it. That's 9 40-hour weeks. When you realize that 365 hours divided by 40-hour week, that's 9 work weeks that you could be doing something different with your life. So if you're in front of the TV and if you're in front of Facebook, you're in Instagram, you're this and that, just 1 hour a day, that's 9 40-hour weeks that you will never get back. So what can you do with that 1 hour that you'd be willing to give up one thing to go up with something else? It's not that we don't have time. We haven't made the right choices. We haven't made the right choices to truly get what we want. We have the time. We sometimes struggle with the choice. Does that make sense? Yeah. What are you doing with your time? The most valuable asset you have is your time. It's the one thing you can never replace. You can make more money, you can create more opportunities, you can do a lot of different things, but you will never, ever, you will never get more time. You can't stop time, you can't replace time. Time is that one element that's the most valuable asset you have. So when you think about the power of an hour, just 1 hour, what are the choices that you make that's going to impact that hour? That's going to impact your whole entire life in that hour. So those are the things that you just have to, when you start thinking into and doing the math on, it's crazy. And that's why, I mean, everybody has different opinions on a lot of different things, and it's one of the reasons years ago that I didn't get involved in, watching sports. And I really like NASCAR. I know you guys pick on me for liking NASCAR, but it was actually one of the reasons that I didn't get into watching NASCAR, because it's a Sunday afternoon watching cars go around on a track, which is to me fun, but it completely killed an afternoon, and those are hours I can't get back. Yep. I didn't say it's a waste of time. Mm-hmm. No, and I'm not saying that it's bad to do it. What I'm saying is everybody has a choice to make, right? Yeah, I made the choice to not do those things, to not get into a habit of watching NASCAR every Sunday and doing this and that, because for me personally, I was not able to do other things that I wanted more. There were other things I wanted more. And that was what I had to learn to prioritize, which is one of the things I put on the Facebook post. Have you have you ever noticed that if you ask somebody, what do you want? What is it that you want out of life? What do you truly want? That's a hard question for some people to answer. And it's easy for us to think we know what we want until we have to start prioritizing our life. When we start prioritizing our daily activities. And it's one of those things that when you look at your daily calendar and you look at everything that you have going on in your life, you have to ask yourself, am I doing today what I want to be doing? Am I doing today what needs to be done to take me where I want to go? And that's a hard one for a lot of people. That's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, Rebecca, did you pull up Facebook on your phone and see if it's working? I don't, yeah, I was afraid of that. Um, so I was afraid that was going to happen because I'm not exactly sure. Can you still hear me now, Rebecca?
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know if that went through with the Ecamm Live, but anyway. Can you hear me now, Rebecca? I don't know. I don't know if that went through with the
I can
Ecamm.
hear you. I can
But
hear you.
anyway, can you hear me now, Rebecca? Is that not good? What did you do? Huh? Of course. Gotta love it. Well, it's because we're traveling all the time and we're just not getting it done on the road. We can do it from the office. We figured that out. We're struggling with it on the road. So anyway, it's one of those things we have to think about how we're what we're really giving up. So I've got a guest here today. Mr. Sloan
Hi.
is with us. So I'm going to ask you, Dr. Sloan, what's your thoughts on giving up to go up?
So when Rebecca was struggling to at the start to think, what is it that does it mean? My thoughts immediately went to uh, promoting others, but more so my family, and so all the sacrifices. And it's not really a sacrifice because I choose to do it. So it's giving stuff up, but it's trading my time to promote family time, to promote my kids. Um, it's working. It's giving up money to pay for college, to promote my kids. So it's, I guess, when you talk about the giving up to go up, that's what um, how I immediately went to it. But then when Kylan was talking about, just finding an hour a week, and that's 9 weeks at 40 hours a week, that's powerful stuff. I hadn't really thought of it that way, and so um, yeah, I was thinking about uh, helping others. Um, More so to um, help myself, because it's a community. And so with whenever I've been in work, I've always worked to replace myself by promoting work colleagues, in terms of not directly, indirectly, by promoting them in their job, helping them out, paying it forward, if you will. And because that way it frees me up to move on with other things. It's surprising, if you help other people in their work, it actually helps you. If you replace yourself, it helps you move onwards and upwards. And I've always found that.
Hmm. And that's just the reality of what we're facing. And what David mentioned something about helping other people, and this is something that I learned a long time ago that I see in the business world, and people don't get a good grasp on it, especially in the world of agriculture, where we are taught from a very young age that we're to do everything. We can. we can get all the work done ourselves. We are responsible for all the different things that we have to do. It's really ingrained in a lot of us growing up on the farm because there wasn't other people there. It's been ingrained in us that everything is about us getting the work done. And what I've learned in that is, if you're going to build a business, if you're going to build something of magnitude, you've got to work yourself out of a job, right? That's really the best thing that you can do. I started realizing that when I worked in ag retail. Um, there's a lot of people in ag retail that don't want the the people that they're developing. They don't want them to get real big, don't want them to get real successful because they could take their job. Well, what that means is we're looking at it the wrong way. Yeah, I want somebody to take my job. And if I can develop a team that can take my job, then it allows me to go up to a new job. It allows me to go into the next level of opportunity. And when we realize that going into a work environment, we should not be going in to do that job. We should be going in to do that job until we can go to another job, go to a higher position, go to a different position, and be willing to give up that job and give it to someone else and let someone else be successful with it so that we can go into a new position, a new opportunity. And all too often, I see people going into just do the job, not do the job to the best of their ability so that they can go up. They don't do the job to intentionally grow themselves to the next level. They just go in to do the job. And that's a lot of it's on businesses. It's on the business themselves. We should create an environment where people are not expected to stay in their job, where they are expected to get promoted, to move to the next level, to grow, to develop. But that's got to be an intentional process. And if you go in as a worker, as an employee, and you go in and you really want to be successful at work, give it everything you got. Think about that power of an hour. If you're doing something in the workplace that causes you to miss an hour a week of productivity, put that into the workplace. What can you really, really do in an hour? When there's a lot of power in that 1 hour when we're intentional with it. So it's, what can we do with that? And how can we take ourselves to the new level? I often hear people in the workplace who don't have enough to do, which is crazy. They sit at their desk or they'll do this and that and they're bored. Have you ever heard somebody be bored at work? There's a problem, right? There's a problem. And that's one of the things that I think we can change in this culture and make it really, really amazing.
I don't know about you, Colin, but if I was doing the same thing in 10 years or even 5 years, I'd be I'd be pretty bored.
Yeah.
But that's not how I plan to be. I plan to, as you say, you get into a role, then you want to start mentoring somebody else into that role, so then you can mentor other people. Build a team under you,
Mm-hmm.
and before you know it, you're actually doing the management role, and then you kind of work upwards that way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Well, you gotta implement it. That's the thing. You gotta move in that direction and implement it. So, well, I know we're not feeding through to our audience on Facebook. Again, at least from the other side of the Zoom here. But with that being said, I do would love to ask for feedback from our Zoom audience. What are some of your thoughts on this very topic? Randy. Yep. Mm-hmm. Great starting point. Anybody else? You got any other thoughts, David?
I know my wife gives up a lot because I travel so much,
Mm.
and so she's giving up the time, me being with her to sort of just personal time, but also the honey-do list and all of that gets pushed aside so that we can go up as a family and
Mm-hmm.
be successful. So I'm always conscious of that too, of what other people are giving up for me, and so
Mm-hmm.
kind of feel responsible to perform as well.
Yeah. Well, that's something Rebecca and I have talked a lot about when she's been home all the years that I've been gone, and it can sometimes have this idea that we're just out here playing and having a good time. And one of the things I shared with Rebecca, it's like the most important thing for me when I get out on the road is to be effective. I want to come out here. I want to do something. I want to meet people and get results. I want to get outcomes. I'm not going to come out here and just waste the days away. And that's very, very critical that we do, like you said, respect that,
I mean,
because
my kids as well.
absolutely, absolutely. So when you're traveling, when you go to conferences, the same thing. It was very true with conferences. We were talking about one last night that I think it's a conference that's going to give good information, but it's regurgitated information talking about the same problems. It's not really a solutions based conference. But nonetheless, if you go to those events, you want to go to those events to glean contacts, glean, opportunities that maybe you didn't hear before. The interesting thing is about going to those events, if you're growing every single day and you're just getting better every day. Every time you go to a conference, you're thinking of the problem at a new level. And it gives you new opportunities, new potential. And the power of growing every single day in here gives you the ability to go up at those events that you normally wouldn't go up into. And if you find yourself going to a conference and you're like, this is just the same thing over and over again, it's you need to explore in here. And I learned that a long time ago. I can go to any conference and glean something that can move me forward and upward. Um, I think this upcoming conference would be better for you to attend than it is for me, but because I've been there multiple times in different ways. But at the end of the day, I really think that um, you know when we're intentional, you're going to find ways to go up, but you kind of have to give up that old thinking.
I think and this works for me. I know it doesn't work for you, but I I'm I actually allow myself to have a bit of a circuit breaker. If I've been on the road for a week and I've done a lot of miles and I'm tired, I'll consciously say, I'm going to have some downtime and I'm going to watch some sport and I'm going to sit on the
Mhm.
couch, because that's just a little bit of my time and catch up so that I can re-energize and do it again.
Right.
And so I'm quite happy to have that little brain space to not think about work rather than being on the clock, and that works for me.
Yeah. And it's R&R is going to be different for everybody.
Mhm.
You know, some people, in fact, I had this good conversation with Andrew the other day. You know, a lot of people go golfing as a way to relax. Andrew says golfing is not relaxing for me. He said that's one of the most stressful games I've ever played. So, you know, he can't play golf to relax. And some people do. And it's just you've got to be able to do what really works for you in that R&R space. All right. Well, there's a lot of things we could talk about with this topic, but we are after the end of the half hour here. So, Rebecca, you have any thoughts as we wrap up? Yep. 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 All right. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Rebecca, thank you for putting all this together. Once again, those of you that are watching on Facebook, we keep getting this audio all mixed up, but we will get it fixed. I promise you. I don't know how long this will last until we can get it done, but we will get it fixed, and we'll figure it all out. I know last week we had a little moment where we got a few things figured out, and here this morning it didn't work. So it's one of those things. Just when you think it's kind of like agriculture, you know, you think you get something figured out, and then next thing you know, it proves not to be. So anyway, it's one of those things. We'll keep moving on it and do our best. But we appreciate you guys jumping in here and being a part of this with us. Bring your thoughts and ideas to Rebecca about topics you'd like to cover. If there's struggles that you have throughout the week, let us know. And we'll do the research on it. We'll do our own implementation on it. Might take us 6 weeks before we can actually talk about it because we want to implement it into our own lives if we're not doing something. And we want to be able to share with you guys what we're finding that works and what doesn't. So give us your thoughts, give us your feedback, and we'll do our best to move things forward with you guys. So this isn't a lot of the stuff that we talk about is stuff that we're working on in our own life, and it's stuff that we are still working through and figuring out. So this is growth is just something that never stops. So with that being said, let's wrap it up. Rebecca, thank you, and we look forward to serving with our community next week. All right. God bless. Talk to you later.